Hello, my Mercurial mercenaries. This is one of those videos I do occasionally. It's the time waster. It's 23:40, 20 to 12. I have a few things I want to talk about, but this video is by no means essential. If you're a new subscriber who wants to watch me listen to music, this isn't the video for you. Move along. However, if you just want to chew the cud, stick around. First things first, let me thank those of you who watch my videos day in, day out and comment on them day in, day out. I appreciate it. I've told you before that reading through the comments on my videos, it does bring joy to my heart, and it does inspire me to go on to do other things, other videos. I quite like this sort of intimate way I do these videos. I just tried to do a video where I was gonna, I did it, where I was gonna tell you to go over to Iron Maiden's channel, and they've recently, in fact today, put up the content that they did have, you had to buy on their DVDs, and the history of the band, their live process, their studio process, all the kind of behind the scenes stuff, all the stuff that was extras on the DVDs, the extras, this whole DVD, the extras on this DVD, they posted them to their site, and I did a video about it. I'll put the link below, but really I was just trying to make my video look a bit more professional. But do you know what? I think I should just stick with what I do best, which is just talking to camera. And if people don't want to hear me talking to camera or watch me talking to camera, then they don't have to watch, do they? And in any case, as we talked about on a previous video, this ain't going to go on forever, is it? People making videos in their bedrooms, not porn, and other people around the world watching it. It's already moving on a little bit. People are migrating over to Twitch. And Twitch, I've got an account there myself because I thought I should sort of get on board early, but I can't. Twitch is a place where people live stream. So they don't even record, they just go live. I've always been wary of going live because it's just fraught with danger, I think. And I only have to watch some of the hangouts that happen on Google Plus or YouTube or whatever to see how. I am from the old school sort of filmmaker mentality, the sort of person who wants to write and record albums of music, you know, and the idea, the ability to frame your shot, and to basically the idea that the ability to edit, because there's an awful lot of just junk being thrown out into the world, and I wish everyone had the desire to edit like I do. Even videos like this one where I tell you I'm not going to edit it so thoroughly, I will still go through it with a fine tooth comb just to get it right. And because of that, my videos just take forever. They take forever. So, and you can tell, I mean, this one here, I tend to use my phone to record, and I can also use my phone to edit and upload to YouTube. I can do, it's amazing. Going back a few years now, I found it, only a couple of years in fact, but going back a few years, I found it hard to justify why I needed a really expensive phone. I feel guilty about it. You know, why would you have a phone that's more expensive than that thing over there, or that thing over there, or that thing that you really need, or whatever? And you'd be trying to convince people about it. And my argument now is that I do everything with my phone. Everything. And when it comes to YouTube, I'm watching YouTube on my phone, I'm recording videos onto the phone, I'm editing them on the phone, I'm uploading them on the phone. It's got to the point where sometimes I don't turn my computer on for, you know, days at a time, weeks at a time sometimes. And that is a sea change. 4.7%. 4.7%. Onward, onward, rode the 600. The charge of the Light Brigade, which inspired the Iron Maiden song The Trooper, took place at the Battle of Balaclava, 1854, during the Crimean War, when 600 British cavalry courageously charged the massed Russian artillery. This gallant but foolhardy assault resulted in a massive loss of life and came about due to a misunderstanding of an order given by the commanding officer, Lord Raglan. Bruce Dickinson apparently had a hand in creating the taste of this lager. Now that is a talented guy, I keep saying to people. Someone who's got the time to help create a lager while he's flying jumbo jets, writing novels, writing autobiographies, having a solo career, doing stuff on the radio, and being a singer of arguably, no, not even arguably, being the singer of one of the biggest bands in the world. Yeah, whatever. Let me just taste his juice a minute. Hang on. It is nice. It is nice. So I use my phone to watch YouTube on. I use the YouTube app. I don't know if you guys use YouTube or your computers, but the YouTube app is an interesting little thing because YouTube are always claiming that they're doing things to improve. We've got to improve. We've got to improve. And only going back a few weeks now, on the tabs along the bottom of the YouTube mobile app, you've got home, trending, subscriptions, something like share, it's called. See, I can't look at it because I'm recording on it. But I'll put it up on the screen now anyway. And the home, it used to be that I'd only ever look at the subscriptions because the home was always trying to foist stuff upon me. But a few weeks ago, it was pretty common for me to never go to the subscriptions page because the home page was throwing up so much great stuff. Stuff that I was subscribed to and stuff similar to that I was subscribed to and stuff YouTube was just guessing what I would like to watch. And do you know what? Because our sort of clique, our circle of friends here, we're quick to dismiss what YouTube does. We're pretty quick to dismiss it as being them being scoundrels and being scandalous and whatever. But the videos they were suggesting I watch were all good, and I was really enjoying it, and I was having like a bit of a YouTube moment for a while. And then, just as quickly as it came, it went again. And now my homepage is full of absolute dross. Absolute dross. It's got videos that just sort of hang around there for ages, like 2 weeks old, just sitting there. I haven't watched them for 2 weeks. I'm never going to watch them. They're still there. Just hanging around like, dirt on your shoe. The trending button, I never press. Not interested. I'll put that on the screen now, but it's just full of absolute wank. So I'm really using the subscription button. They've got this new button next to the subscription, which includes shares and an activity. Fine, I suppose. This whole share thing, you've got the ability to share a video with somebody else. I've never used it. I'm not really, contrary to the way you think I might be, I'm not particularly social, really. But what happened? What happened? They get it so right, and then it all just turns to shit. But it is amazing what we can do with our phones. You'll see some videos that I put up, they've got a lot of bang and wallop in them, a lot of effects and zooms and cuts. Those sort of videos you can tell I've done on the main computer. But when you get a simple video that's just a series of cuts, pretty much guaranteed I did it on my phone. And that's amazing. If you told me, not even in my youth, but only going back a few years, that I could basically have let's face it, it's a movie studio. It is. a wafer thin. Oh, just one more set. Oh, just it's wafer thin. A wafer thin film studio that you can slip into your pocket. And in that wafer thin film studio, the ability to just send it via ones and zeros into the world where people in America and Australia can watch it on their wafer thin screens in their pockets with no wires connecting it. Just, it's totally fantastic. And sometimes I wish it all didn't seem so normal, because, okay, I'm a nostalgic person, but going back to my youth, because I always get back to saying in my youth, but in my youth, we're talking about, so I was brought up with an Atari games console, Pong. When Bubble Bobble came out in the arcades, I really wanted to own it. That to me was the pinnacle of arcade gaming. Everything was wired. I had a Sinclair Spectrum. We had phones with dials that you had to use. You had to phone someone's house and say, "Hi, is Christian there?" No, he's out. Can you get him to phone me when he gets back? Everyone was wired in. When you left the wires, you were completely untraceable and free. There was no internet. We had encyclopedias and we had just books in general and teachers. If you wanted to know something about something, you had to make a journey. You had to journey to find out. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Everything involved effort and journey and work. If you wanted to hear the new Metallica album, you had to copy it off your friend. Get him to copy it for you. If you wanted to see a band on the TV, you had to wait to the specific program, Top of the Pops on a Thursday night, or we used to have the Power Hour, which was the heavy metal program, which was shoved away on, I think, ITV at like 2:30, 3:30, 4:30 in the morning. Ridiculous. That's how much people who liked rock music were valued by the mainstream. Just tucked away. So I remember when, our school had a video camera and I got to borrow it one night and I went round filming stuff, and it's a great big thing like that, and went around filming stuff, and it was just amazing. And you could see yourself on the TV. It was just, wow. Everything was an effort and physical, and the idea of just having a wafer thin mint that can do everything. And of course, the idea of the internet, that's the main thing. See, there's no sense of awe now because we're in this age of it being normal. But can you imagine traveling back in time and trying to tell yourself in, say, 1985, or pick a year that you were actually alive, I don't know, 1990, whatever. Can you imagine trying to tell yourself, once your old self had got over the fact that your new self, once your old self had got over the fact that you turned up there and got Back to the Future stuff. Can you imagine trying to tell your old self, your young self, what the future holds? The idea that everywhere, the all information is to hand. You'll have a device that you can know anything instantly. You want to know anything about your favourite band, you can know everything there is to know about them. You want to listen to their music, don't have to travel to a shop to buy it. You can just listen to it. You can do everything. I mean, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. And so back then, I don't feel like we had that knowledge. And now we've got that knowledge. Or at least we've got the ability to obtain that knowledge. And yet, part of me thinks people have got stupider, dumber over the years. It's weird, isn't it? I kind of feel it in myself. I don't trust myself to do simple maths, so I have to use the calculator on the phone. Whereas in the past, I'd have just done it in my head. As a kid, I used to enjoy looking through encyclopedias, and I had a whole Reader's Digest set. I think it was Reader's Digest? It was some kind of set on something. I had a whole hardback book on space and the moon. All about the Apollo missions, and I used to go through it and I used to really enjoy it. And you know, there may have been conspiracy theories about how we didn't go to the moon back then, but I didn't see them. I basked in what actually happened and the knowledge associated with it. There is something about the ability for everybody to say everything that might be dumbing down society. I certainly think. I mean, there's always been thick people. Let's not be under any misapprehension or illusion here. There's always been thick people. It's probably wrong to say that society is dumbed down when even a kid today can just, you know, they're just connected like the Matrix to everything. But it sometimes feels that way. And it would be interesting to talk to my young self and just see if I could. I'm sure if I told, because I'd believe myself if I came back from the future, if I told my young self everything that we can do today, I'd like to see the look of awe in my own face, because I think it would be there. A look of wonder. A look of wonder. You know, you can post something in America. You know, Evil White Clown Punk can post the opening of a DVD with an Evil White Clown Punk on the front, and I'm immediately watching it, and it's just amazing. And like I was saying before I strayed, we're moving on now to something else, aren't we? We're moving on to a live age. Everyone wants to be live. It's all Periscope and all these different Twitch and all this stuff where everyone. I'm sure we're going to get to the point where, and I think people are already doing this, but your average YouTuber at the moment, your famous YouTubers, PewDiePie is one of them, but there's other stuff. There's these guys that I keep hearing about, Jake Paul, is it? And the other guy, brothers. I don't watch their channel at all, but Philip DeFranco is always talking about them. And Boogie 298 or whatever he's called, the guy who's had the gastric band put in. These guys at the moment make videos, frame their videos, edit their videos. There's still that creative process. It all comes down from the film directors of old. You know, you can laugh at this, but there is a direct line from Hitchcock to me. There is. But once you just slap like a body-worn video camera on somebody, on their head or on their chest or whatever, and our new social sensation is just live streaming his life 24 hours a day, where do you go from there? I mean, now that I've said it like that, that's actually quite an interesting prospect. The ability to, I could have a channel where I'm just watching someone's life. I'm literally watching them eat and piss and shit and shag and get into arguments, get run over. I'm already doing less. Right, So then you could say, well, that's no good because then you're just watching someone else live their life while you're not living yours. But I feel like I'm already doing that. Not living my life. It's amazing how long these videos take to do. But it's not, I can't just blame the videos. It's the fact that I'm watching so many videos. Every day, the first thing I do is I pull the YouTube app up and I press the subscription button and I look through to see whether someone's that I follow has posted something, and then I'm looking through and I'm thinking, oh, brilliant, Guitar Struggles has posted something, brilliant, funniest guy on the internet, great stuff. That's 20 minutes of your time taken straight away there. And then I'm going through and I'm thinking, oh, I must watch that, I'll come back to that one. Oh, Best of the Worst, Red Letter Media, brilliant. Oh, yeah, go through, yeah. And before you know it, even though I don't watch, because of this, I don't watch TV anymore, I've definitely substituted it with mainly YouTube and occasionally Netflix box sets. I used to do a lot of writing. I used to do a lot of music recording. And now I find I'm doing I've substituted a lot of watching the TV for watching YouTube. And making YouTube videos. Because I've said before, the video might only be 20 minutes long, but it took me 20 hours. And I'm moaning and you say, well, don't do them then. Get on with your life. And it's like, it's such a pain in the arse. And I'm thinking, yeah, but if I got more subscribers, think what I could do. Because at the moment, I'm nothing. And there really is no point doing this. And I don't tell anyone I do this, because it's not important. It's just, I'm nothing. But I think, well, what if I got 800 subscribers? 800. What if I got, just imagine, this will probably never happen, but imagine if I, the Mercurial number 6, that's important, it's not in brackets. If I, the Mercurial number 6, got 1,000 subscribers. And then someone will go, well, so what? And I'll be like, yeah, but back to that analogy. Imagine I'm playing a gig. Imagine I'm doing forget the playing gig part, because this is straight talking, yeah? Imagine like this was a comedy club and I'm on stage, like I am now with you right now. I'm on stage by myself just talking, and there's 1,000 of you. But then the 1,000 subscribers don't watch my videos. It's only a tenth of them. So say, even then, say 100 people. Guaranteed. Say 200, I've probably already got 100 people guaranteed. Say I up the stakes and I get 500 people guaranteed every video. 500 people in a room. That's significant. I think that's a significant amount. That's the sort of amount where you can think, I am making a difference to these people's lives, because I might just be as important to them in their life today as the person serving them in the store at the cash till. The Perfect 10 and I are still working our way through the Prisoner episodes. Not all of you have watched my Prisoner podcast. You should. I think you'll enjoy it. We have now watched Arrival, Free for All, and Dance of the Dead. I've got to say, Dance of the Dead was pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. We've got still all these to go, and then we'll be doing some more episodes of our podcast. It's an interesting program, is The Prisoner. So relevant to today still. And yet, who knows what Patrick McGoohan was really thinking when he wrote it, and starred in it, directed it. If you haven't watched my Prisoner podcast, the first one, I think I titled it rather, Cult TV. Go back and watch it. I do it with the perfect 10, so to speak. And I'm going to carry on anyway, whether you watch it or not. But It's one of the most interesting TV programs of all time. It kind of deserves people to devote more time to watching it. It is, I mean, having now watched this, and these are the episodes I do suggest you watch. There's 17 in all. Don't watch all 17, just watch these ones. Having watched these 3 so far, again, I mean, I watched them hundreds of times in my life, but having watched them with a perfect 10, and when you're watching it with someone else, you're making them watch it. So you're kind of feeling like you have to justify their experience and their time, which is what I'm kind of doing with you here now. But I grant you, it's a difficult watch, and it's not even always enjoyable, but it makes you think. And like I was saying earlier about, are we living in a dumbed down age? Well, if this stuff was on in 1967 and people took it in, I'm not sure it would work today, which is weird. I was saying to the Perfect 10 earlier, I think it might be one of the most sort of complicated programs of all time, but it's not that I don't think there's complicated TV now. You try watching House of Cards, the US version of House of Cards. It's just so it's complicated, but I was saying it's complicated in a different way. The Prisoner and House of Cards can't be compared. The Prisoner hasn't got 100 characters with intertwined storylines. It's difficult. It's a difficult watch in a very different way, and I'm not sure it could really work today. Now, can I make a sort of a startling revelation here? I have never watched the remake of The Prisoner. Never watched it, not a single second. So don't tell me about it. Look, the reason I haven't watched it is because I didn't want to watch it. Because this might be one of my favourite programs of all time. And I don't know. Maybe if I hadn't read bad reviews of it, I might have given it the time of day. No, I'll tell you what it is. I need the Prisoner to stay where it is. It's in the village. It is what it is. Remakes can work, and maybe the Prisoner one does, and maybe this is an interesting one. See, this is where, just even though you're not commenting here, we're just talking, but we're not even talking. I'm talking to myself, aren't I? Perhaps if you guys make this more of make my podcast of this more of a success than you have so far, because you haven't bothered to watch it, I'll watch the remake of The Prisoner and do some sort of videos, podcast reviews, commentary of them. Again, that probably wouldn't interest you, but that would genuinely give me a reason to live. In the same way that saying that I was going to listen to more music this year, in the same way that although it might be odd me putting a record on and videoing myself listening to it, the process of doing it is causing me to have to listen to music. So by circumstance, I have listened to more music this year than since, my youth. Although it was a bit of a hit to have the copyright thing today blocking it from the US. When I got that email through, so-and-so Records has decided to block your video in the US. It was a bit kind of, damn, is this the shape of things to come? It might be because it's a very new record, because some of the other ones I've done have all been pretty old. Have they? Yeah, pretty old. I wonder if it's a case that if it's a newish record, they just block it. Then again, why block it in the US? I mean, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard from Australia, it's not blocked there. I think it might be the Mile High Club, the Mild High Club. He's from like LA or somewhere. So perhaps it's his record label that's blocked it. Who knows? I forgot what I was talking about now. Oh yeah, The Prisoner. So if you haven't already, go and watch my Prisoner podcast with the Perfect 10. And I understand. It's like my Mercury series where people just go, well, I can't really devote that time, Mercurial number 6, to just listening to you talk a little bollocks about something I'm not interested in. That's fine. That's a perfectly valid point. It's midnight now. That's a perfectly valid point. Still, just do it. Liam Gallagher got into some shit today. He's the singer of Oasis. He's recently come out with a solo album. He's had a reputation for being very outspoken, and I think he plays up on it a little bit. I think he realizes that it's his thing that he does. So imagine if that's what you were known for, talking shit and just being very honest or purposefully vitriolic or whatever. You'd probably just, if I was known for talking shit about people and people tuned in to see me talk shit about people, I'm going to talk shit about people, aren't I? That's what I'm going to do. But he made a comment in an interview, I think it was with Dave Grohl. I can't remember now. But he made a comment where he was asked, it might have been Taylor Hawkins actually, I can't remember. He was asked whether he liked Queen, and he said, not really, they're right. But Brian May's guitar tone stinks, he should stick it up his ass. And then Taylor Hawkins or Dave Grohl or whoever was like, what, really? Oh, I think Queen are brilliant. And he sort of backtracked and went, well, yeah. I mean, they're a cool band and everything, but... And he's getting like all the Facebook people are out going, oh God, how Liam Gallagher's a wanker, he's a bastard, how dare he, he's got no talent. And I was reading it and I thought, what's wrong with saying that? What's wrong with saying that? There's plenty of people. I mean, there's loads of people that I can't stand the sound of their voice. But there's loads of guitarists who I don't care for their guitar playing. I kind of appreciate that they're good and everything, but I can't really give them the time of day, particularly. There have been times actually where I've listened to Brian May's guitar tone and thought, he's lauded, isn't he? Made the guitar of his dad out of his mantelpiece, the Red Special, and he's a fantastic guitar player. And there have been times where I've listened to his guitar tone and it's so distinctive. It's sometimes very separate from the instrumentation. It's like floating on a layer above it, and I've quite often thought, I don't know, I'm supposed to like it, but Liam Gallagher just says it and gets in the shit. I mean, I wouldn't go so far as to say that, because for every time I've thought, his tone's whatever, I then either listen to another Queen song or listen to the same song again and think, nah, it's good. But it's just funny, we're going, it's like back to that Prisoner thing of free speech and the individual and the idea that there's like a mass collective who have an opinion on something. The opinion is Brian May's guitar tone is aspirational, and if you say it isn't, the world comes down upon you. I mean, I wouldn't pick Brian May to slag off. Certainly wouldn't pick Brian May, but there's plenty of guitarists and singers and stuff that you guys like that I just, whatever. And you probably don't like, there's a good chance you don't like Iron Maiden. I think Bruce Dickinson is maybe the greatest singer of all time. Maybe he is. But a lot of you out there probably don't care for him. But if you say you don't care for him, doesn't bother me. I'm not going to come down on you like a ton of bricks. You're allowed to not like Bruce Dickinson's voice. Finally, I was just watching Robert Plant play on Jools Holland tonight, and his guitar player was using a Les Paul Studio. Now, perhaps, I'm not sure right now because they've introduced so many different guitars to the Les Paul and the Epiphone ranges and stuff. God, a glut of them, right? But certainly in my day, the Les Paul Studio was the sort of the entry-level Les Paul. And, you know, if you play a Les Paul Studio, there was just a little bit of you that felt slightly, not ashamed or embarrassed, but just like, I wish it was a standard, you know? In actual fact, there was plenty of reasons not to think that. The Studio was often lighter. It had, I mean, look, the bound fretboards and stuff, I'm back to going, again, but, you know, all the accoutrements, whatever the word is, that comes with a Les Paul standard, strip them all back. I mean, I'm the fan of, the Telecaster is the greatest guitar of all time, so you can see where I'm coming from. I think the Les Paul Studio is great. But certainly if you had to go and play if someone told you right now that you are going to be the guitar player in Robert Plant's band and tour the world, knowing that Robert Plant spent all that time with Jimmy Page, not sexually, I hope. I don't care. It's all right if they did. It's all right. Two grown men. It's absolutely fine. You would buy a Les Paul Standard, wouldn't you? But the guy who's playing in Robert Plant's band on TV tonight, he was playing a Les Paul Studio. And I liked that. I almost stood up and started clapping. But I didn't. I didn't. But I almost did. Still, he didn't have an Epiphone. He didn't have an Epiphone. So we're not quite there yet in that. Don't quite know where I was going with that. Don't quite know where I was going with any of that. Keep your comments coming. Because even if I don't, sometimes you guys and Julino and Jamie Adams and Explosive Notes and the like, and Podrick, you write really long, detailed, in-depth comments, and quite often you'll see no reply from me. I mean, I'll like them to show I've read them, but it's quite often that you kind of inspire me to talk about things in other videos or just to go away and do something. So never think that the lack of a long response in any way means that I'm being dismissive, because I just love it. I love it. Other people slate social media, but there's a lot of good. There's a lot of good. That was the Time Waster. Over and out.